We'll save our ish for later.
Can I get a box for that ish?
I was saying we did exactly 5 minutes. That would be the kind of thing. That'd be like I'm gonna get the burger, I'm gonna get the everything, but can I have some extra nuggets? And then you eat and you're like, well, no, I can't have the nuggets. It's exactly that sitch. I do that all the time because my eyes are too big for my stomach. I eat constantly, but small amounts. Like a cow.
Healthy.
Well...
Recently, there was a promotion for 24 nuggets for $10. And like hell did I capitalize on that.
That's wild.
There was a nug war recently, like a couple of years ago, of McDonald's having a sale, and then KFC would have a sale on nuggets, and then Hungry Jack's would have a sale on nuggets, and it was just nug time all the time.
That's sick though.
So
let them
good.
fight, and then the people.
That's absolutely a let them fight situation.
Yeah, it was like 50 cents a nug.
McDonald's did that here too, because Tim Hortons has roll up the rim to win, which is a contest where you roll up the rim of your coffee cup and you can win like cars and money and shit.
Yeah.
And they always get like a lot of extra business. And then McDonald's a few years ago in Canada started just giving away free coffee during the month whenever Tim Hortons would do that. So like, yeah, you can go to Tim's and get your coffee, or we'll just give you coffee.
That is McDonald's BM. Like, only McDonald's can get away with that.
Yeah. So, like, whatever. We'll take the hit. We're not going to make money this month on coffee anyway, so fuck it.
Advert that's like, we've now made our teams smaller for the coronavirus. And it's like, oh, you just laid off a load of people. That's what that is. Yeah. You haven't made, like, refined your teams. You've just fired people.
On the other hand, I want to live in a world where I get to eat robot burgers.
Burgers made of robots?
By robots.
By robots.
But if you think about it, you know, like a meat burger was once a meat robot. Think about it.
I don't want to think about it. I'm not going to.
Anyway.
I reject your hypothesis.
You're not ready for that yet, but your kids are going to love it.
In cheese, and it was fantastic. And I didn't feel bad about it because it's vegan cheese. Made of cashew nuts.
Made of cashew nuts? I was against it until you said cashew nuts, because I love cashews.
I love cashew nuts.
That's the secret. People tell you that, like, you can't live without animal products, but you can.
Absolutely.
You can. I think you can eat Oreos as a vegan.
Yeah.
Oreos doesn't have milk in it.
That is good
I
to
like
know.
eating them, but I think something changed. Like,
depending on how you feel about mealworm rights, you can also probably eat McDonald's in America. But that's a side issue.
Well,
depending on how you feel about horses, you could also eat at Burger King.
All over the place for cows that actually don't like. Anyway, I'll just end on the fact that Domino's does vegan nuggets. So.
Oh dear!
I didn't know that. They must be new.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Is that also made out of cashews? Is that also made out of cashews? Just nuggets that are just cashews.
They just forage the nuggets. They just harvest them naturally from the wild. They just go to the nugget tree.
What a world! What a fucking world where you can get like, and they come out like warm and crispy too. Mm-hmm. They're not like cold. Like you get them from the like they're clearly like a tuber. You dig them up from the ground.
Dig them up like
absolutely, and they're warm and fresh.
No, a nugget tree, and then you pick it off when it's like nice and crispy, like an apple.
Fresh from the branch.
And I keep trying to bring it up back, but there's too many good points being brought up right now to not discuss.
Or be it from Ollie to shut down an important discussion.
This is content.
You know, I swear I was supposed to be doing something. Like, I got up so early to...
like,
didn't get up
to talk about...
Yeah, like your roommate just comes in, like, what are you doing?
Oh, that is...
Talking about nugget trees. What of it?
I mean, I've definitely been up to very stupid times talking about nuggets before. Recently with my mother.
Moms love nuggets.
I mean, it's true. I was having a conversation with my mom about how we haven't had chicken nuggets in forever, and it would be cool to have some. But yeah, so I can't argue with that point. Anyway, let's get back to reality.
So
And
you're
actually,
a
we're getting
strong
back to reality
person.
with you, Zoe, which is one of the reasons why I didn't bring things back to control, because you were the troublemaker.
Always.
Sometimes you behave. You were going to Fearlock.
Stride.
Yeah.
Just top goes billowing.
He's sitting there
Goblins.
with his the girlfriend is sitting on the
Goblins in the
table
valley.
now. But
About
he
500 whatchamacallits away. Clicks.
feet. I know they're strange to understand as we Brits.
Freaking Legolas quote. Oh.
I can't remember. You know that scene where he's like, when he's like, they're following us, sort of thing. I can't remember the damn quote. It's
Oh, where he's like a foul stench on the wind. Like,
something like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like Legolas smells the orcs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that scene. He's like a
Aragorn is like
weirdo.
his head to the ground, going like their pace is quickened.
Yeah, and then
Yes,
they
that's
start,
the one.
and then they start making out. I love that scene, dude. It's dope.
Oh yeah, that's the best part.
Majestic warrior.
It's in the director's cut.
Down the hill.
You go to Fearlock and you say that there are goblins in the valley. He slides his girlfriend slightly over on the table so that he can look at his map.
Table with loads of paper and her and the whole thing just slowly.
Like her, dude.
And he does look
He's
at
like-
it and is like,
He's like, "Ugh."
that's worrying, perhaps. And she kind of like puts a hand on his, and her hands are bigger than his because he's a scrawny dwarf and she's a, you know, full-bodied regular dwarf.
Real dwarf.
Yeah. And says, you should wait for the full report. That's good to know, but we shouldn't be hasty. And he kind of looks up at her and nods slightly and like, aye, that's good to know.
I just really want Donoruvian to put their head between theirs and just go,
Like, you two, leave room between.
for Jesus!
Leave room
For
Jesus.
Pyth? Is it Pyth?
Yeah, he's basically Jesus.
Yeah.
But that's what he said. He says, well, that's good, but we should wait for the skulls to come back. But maybe you could prepare, you know, their strategies you can use against goblins.
I think Donoruvian, with no disrespect, just with other things to think about, turn around and leave and go to find Sidian and
Yeah. They are sitting together.
okay, cool. And
Don't even need to remember the name. And I imagine Therese would probably, I mean, you're all in the same place, essentially, so you're all aware.
Yeah,
Or you could
walk
just keep
over
ignoring
and-
Ian's character, which, you know, is fine. We don't need another one.
No.
salty, just salty.
That was
No, I know. I was memeing.
Some of that chicken salt, just
You walk over
So
to
good.
City and being like, and that is why you should always wait until marriage.
my face hurts.
Oh.
And Donoruvian's just going to say, not in front of any of like
They're-
weird guys.
Yeah.
People.
We're just kind of hanging out on the side.
They're
anyway.
kind of on their
Yeah.
own, on a stone.
Yeah. I really hope that none of his mates were there while he was like filling in like Phil Nora's ignorance, just like, oh yeah.
That's what they call it
It's like,
nowadays.
all right, so here's why you're a horrible racist. Let me break this down for you.
Okay.
No.
I
But...
asked for this.
Oh
Donoruvian will
god.
just say, the youth is wet behind the ears.
I
Meaning,
know.
like, sparsely spoken, but with the intention of being a warning. Like, he doesn't seem to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
What do we do? Do we take charge and lead the little armies as he suggested? Or do we... That sort of thing. He isn't experienced.
He will need much guidance. This is certain.
Can we guide from the field?
As a war commander, one of us probably could. Like, as people look up to others and maybe they'll see one of my spells and be super impressed and be like, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah.
I think we have to, because we cannot leave the field to him, and we cannot leave things behind the lines to him either, lest he...
I suggest that we set a course in his mind and hope that he sticks to it.
Yes.
I believe he is aware that he is not the most suitable for commanding armies.
He did ask me a question. Are elves used to questioning orders or like having discourse in a war room?
That's a good question. Here's I think the logical kind of thought, right? It would probably go to the eldest, right? As people where some, like, your military commander might be 500 years old. They've done a lot of these battles, and a battle to an elf is a short thing. You know, so the fact that you were questioned as his elder would be the kind of the confusing thing. But at the same time, he is asking questions of you, which is kind of appropriate. It's kind of a confusing in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should wait until the scouts get back, or if you're not quite trusting that.
I relay the gobbos.
Oh.
A whole 500 away.
500 units? That's an amount of distance. At
least the system doesn't use yards, am I right? Like, fuck that.
It's 10,000 millimeters. All right. Well, there are three possibilities. Either they are here to help us fight, which I think is unlikely. They are here to help the Mind Flayers, or they are just here of their own volition.
Do I know about gobbos in the way?
With your history check, yes. So that's actually a good point. Your history check of 16 earlier was good enough to sort of it's kind of sort of
like war called.
No, but that's actually very similar, right?
Of course, I'm
That
such
was
a
going to be
moron.
my question.
There's sort of two kinds of goblins you'll encounter. Wild goblins, and usually they are just lesser goblins, the small green happy chappies. And you would have encountered them a lot because there are goblins in the forests of Aradia. You kind of can't stop there being goblins in the forests of Aradia.
It's like London trying to stop parkour.
Yeah.
Get out of them trees!
And then there are organized goblins, and those are usually led by hobgoblins. They're usually mercenary companies in this part of the world, because hobgoblins, you know, their generation teaches military and so forth, and they can wrangle the lesser goblins into combat. These mercenary companies can be big or small. There was, around 5 years ago, a big upswelling of all of them joining their forces. That was 5 years ago. This is not them. You wouldn't recognize the flag if it was. But this is a small... it's two camps of the same mercenary sort of army. It's sizable, but it's also goblins. It looked like it was mostly lesser goblins as well, which are relatively easy to dispatch, but can be dangerous in greater numbers. But they're here because they're being paid to. They're mercenaries. It seems that Gemtador basically paid in for some assistance.
Yeah. And that was basically my question out of character is like, we're obviously operating under because we didn't hire them.
Yeah.
So we're obviously operating under the assumption that they have
Yeah.
been hired by the other side. And now whether or not they think that they've been hired to fight on behalf of Gemtador, or if they know like the full extent of what they have signed up for, is a completely different question.
That is a good, different question.
The other thing to consider too is, as literal mercenaries,
Buy them out.
exactly. We might not have to fight them if we can secure the means to buy them out.
Who's gonna buy hobgoblins?
That is
Sold.
Just like a hobgoblin
You're
in
on
like
rare
a fucking,
form.
with a big cowboy hat on, doing like a car auction. But yeah,
That is not how auctions work in the UK, I'll tell you what.
yeah, that's because the UK has something called culture. But yeah, it's I think that, like, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, fighting them is an option, but if we can buy them out, that's an even better option. Because then not only do we not have to fight them, but then they will fight on our behalf, which is Hype City. But the question is, how much and what are they being paid? So it might not even be a question of gold. But I mean, that's a conversation for a different race and group of people.
Oh, you're just like, oh, these are good points. I'm going to kill them.
Yeah. No, more so, I mean, like, we would have to actually talk to them because there's no way of really knowing that.
Yes.
Out down a mountain to them. That's how.
Oi! Thought off!
Yeah, but that's actually a valid point. Yeah, these questions, to be answered, you'd have to go and speak to them, and they might not be willing to speak with you, and that would give away your hand. That would put you in a shitty position where you either come down with an army, which is not going to go well, you come down as you to negotiate.
One persuasion.
Exactly.
Not me.
My persuasion's actually not bad, and I'm sure Vanilla's is even better because she's just charismatic.
Yeah, I could also speak to them from 120 feet away with message, so that could be fun.
Freak them out.
Hey!
Well, it's message, so they hear it in their mind.
I
instead.
know. Which might be good. And actually, this is something I didn't even tell you, because I was waiting until it might be slightly relevant. But this whole battlefield in front of you is rocky, right?
Okay.
But there's also sort of a valley between here and Gemtador. But right near that Hoblin Goblin camp, there's little patches of trees. So you could even maybe, like, go and secure that little area and talk to them from the trees cover, maybe. Which might be an option.
Should we relay this to Fireface?
Fearlock.
Fearlock.
Every time you say his name, it gets better.
Did I ever tell you that Nox, who was one of the original members of Jarviskjir Midwinter, had the same thing? They could never remember a name, but they'd always get it slightly wrong and slightly right. Crazy.
Classic.
There was also the point of me possibly talking to Sato again and possibly finding him. I don't know what information we'd probably get from him as well. He seemed very submissive and not like
Terrain? Any tunnel?
Oh yeah?
Tunnels and corpses are kind of his domain, it seems.
Smells. He's good at smells.
He is good at smells.
And sacks.
He's got max ranks and smells.
Yes.
His smells stat is off the charts.
So did we want to see if we can find him as well? By the way, Ollie, how much time do we have before like this thing gets started? Like
well, you've kind of futzed around for a bit. So maybe
We're
soon.
waiting till the scouts come back.
Yeah, but yeah, you've kind of used quite a bit of time anyway right now. Going and finding Sartha. I mean, you don't know how. You didn't see him on the way here, and it's a straight tunnel. Aside from
we're going to talk to Commander-in-Chief.
Yeah.
About talking to the hobgoblins and then try and negotiate briefly, efficiently with the hobgoblins. So you have 15 minutes. Go.
Yeah, if you want, yeah, that would be a good idea. So you split Vilnora off to go and find Big Worm Boy, and you're gonna go speak to Fearlock.
I'll go find him.
Let's
By
do
myself.
this first.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Let's do you
Never
guys
back.
first. You go to Fearlock's with a plan, right? You tell him the plan that you're gonna go and, or you could go and talk to the goblins.
It's Ocean's 3.
I didn't even know there was an Ocean's 3.
There's not. We're making it right now.
Oh. Well, that was why I was surprised, because I recently watched the first two and enjoyed them quite a lot, so if I was an Ocean's 3, I would have wanted to know about it.
I mean, there's Ocean's 8, which is like Ocean's 0.5. Anyways.
You go and tell Fearlock your plan, and he does the same face I just did. He's like, And before he even says anything, his woman says, I don't believe negotiating with such creatures would be wise. They might
Why
just...
are you here?
You just straight up say that?
Why are you here?
No one even wants you.
Is that a canon question?
Tracy! Karen?
Doesn't even go to the school.
Don't even go here.
Is Donaruvian asking that too?
I don't want to upset Fuckface.
Well, if you call
Can I
him that.
insight roll her?
Sure.
I was gonna ask the
very
same
much
thing.
like to insight roll her.
I'm just gonna let you do it.
Eh.
For this plus
I
7.
tend to get decent insight rolls. It's kind of my favorite.
Yeah, I was able to do a +7.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I got that nat 20 with Dernikin for the last session as well.
Something about this dwarven lady, it doesn't seem right.
Teresa
You could
says-
excuse a young lord bringing a pretty young thing to their battlefield. In fact, among the military men of Goldport, it often happens it blends in a little easier because usually their fancy is another man and it can blend in with their royal guard or so. But young nobles do this kind of thing. Them actually getting so involved is suspicious, and looking at her, the way she talks is like she's wearing a mask. And that... that's something you can't get out of your mind. That either this is just a very false young lady, which you've encountered before as well, or something more sinister is happening here.
I want the whole gang just to go.
Therese will say, with all due respect, my lady, what is your position here to be advising the Lord Copperbeard on military tactics?
Well, she's here on my request.
And yes, but what expertise does she have in this area?
I have knowledge of the world, my lady.
Name and rank.
No rank. That's why Fearlock likes me. I'm not some noble looking for status.
Who is she really?
It is simply that this dissuading from action seems slightly disingenuous to me when we have been brought on board to be helping command this army. I would like to know who you are, please.
I am Darith Priest. Darith. This isn't her. I just can't say her name. Darith
I want her
Beast
to go,
Branch.
what was my name again?
What were? I don't remember my name, but no, it is.
It's not fake.
I am Darith Beast Branch. I am a simple woman who's been wrapped up in the love of an extraordinary man, and I'm trying to help in every way I can.
Was she sitting next to him in the feast? Because I don't
No, but she it looked like she maybe snuck in to talk to him for a bit. She wasn't actually a member of the feast.
If I may, a simple woman such as yourself, while I respect your position and the love that is clearly between you, I am not sure it is your position to be making judgment calls on military matters like this.
eject yourself. Or I will eject you.
You can give me an intimidation roll with advantage, Donna Rivian. She seems taken aback by that, but in a very Karen-esque way, where she's more frustrated that she's been addressed in such a way. You can just see the Karen energy.
I want to see your manager.
I mean,
The manager.
and it is almost that sort of thing. And she does stand up and brush off her dress and kind of look to Fearlock. It's like, are you going to let them talk to me like that? And goes to leave, and Fearlock says, no, she can stay. Darith is very important to me.
My lord.
Therese is actually going to sort of walk up to him non-threateningly and can I do like a quick like glance over and see if there's anything like visual that indicates he is being controlled in any way?
Sure, I guess that would be an insight check as well, really.
Yeah.
Do
Do it.
Fuck yeah.
He just seems like a young man in love. And kind
So
of...
in other words, he's being dominated.
So he's being dominated, mind-controlled, 100%.
Therese will just walk up to him and say, with all due respect, my lord, and I appreciate the feelings you have for her, but as someone who has stood on battlefields, I am not sure her advice is the best in this situation.
Think of the lives you are responsible for.
I still believe we should wait for the scouts to come back. That would be valuable information regardless.
That I do not disagree with. I am just concerned that your emotions are clouding your judgment regarding our advice.
I am
And
listening.
I understand that it is difficult to separate such emotions from such judgments. It just concerns me that you are in a powerful position, and I would hate for this to go poorly.
And never
Of
fear,
course.
a consort is trained in these matters. In the future, should things go fuck if I know.
I am listening, Darith. Perhaps you should... Perhaps I should sort out these things on my own, for now. She's like, as you wish, my lord. Of course.
Because Therese had moved forward, like to speak to him and have a look at him. She is now going to sort of she's trying to avoid being disrespectful, so she doesn't want to fully turn her back, but she sort of goes halfway round and starts to move back to the others. And she gives them a very meaningful glance, and glances at the woman in like there's something that is
This
something
fucking
very
bitch.
wrong there. Yeah. There's something very wrong there. Sort of, we need to look into that deal, but like not in such a way to
she storms past you. out into the camp, going back into it.
Donovan would call, "Don't go far."
Or do.
She does not respond.
Take a long walk off a short cliffside, if you know what I'm saying.
That is like totes what's going on here.
Yeah, I'll just chime in here and say to Fireface.
No!
I remember
This
his
is
name.
what you're doing! Zoe, you're causing bad behavior in the goodest boy who's never been any kind of thorn in my side.
Good luck.
But yes, I will go up to Man and
Fearlock.
Yes, I will go up to Fearlock.
It's just 2 words.
Face fear.
I'll go up to Lockfear.
When you
No.
go up to Fearlock, he kind of like... He was kind of slumped, but he sits back up, like, almost defensively.
Yeah.
He's back to the throne.
And I will just ask him in a way that is like... I mean, he can interpret it however he wants, but it's very much meant to just be like an exchange of information. Like, my lord, how many battles have you commanded or been a part of?
The Everhold disaster was really the only one.
The whole group's like,
I organised much of the Civil War if it was to go worse, but preparing is not a true battlefield.
"You will gather experience, my lord. Let this be the first of intensive study."
What she says is true. I do not mean this as an insult, nor do I mean it as any type of grounds for you to feel insecure. I simply wish to know, because it is important to know what experience you are basing your decisions off of. And I understand that you are aware of this, and that is why you have trusted us to make some of these decisions for you, which, my lord, I must say, is a great honor, and I will do so willingly as long as it is required. Of course, we will wait till the scouts come back, but I must tell you, if these mercenaries can be dealt with in a way that does not involve combat, not only will it save many of our lives, it may also provide us an advantage in fighting our true enemy. Combat against mercenaries is a waste of time and a waste of resources, and that is the entire point of hiring them. They are literally meant to stand between us and our enemy, and if we are somehow able to turn that around on them, we can turn a disadvantage into an advantage so great it may indeed be the factor that decides the outcome of this battle. So all I ask is that when we bring these things to you, you may ask questions, but please understand that they are suggestions that come from a place of experience and understanding. Because if things go well, you will gain no experience on the battlefield this time, because there will not be much of a battle for you to take part in.
If you wish to communicate with these mercenaries, then I give you my blessing to do so. I do not know what bargaining chip you would go to such brigands with.
"Gold."
Which gold? What gold?
They may not know who has hired them. From what little I know of such mercenaries, I am not sure that knowledge would make much of a difference, but at the very least we could enlighten them.
"Who will speak with them?"
You should all go together if you're to go at all.
It would be
Indeed.
safest, yes.
"As you wish, my lord."
I will keep an eye on everything here, making sure that it is all still running. I might not know the best on military strategy, but I can get resources. I can manage that part.
I'll give him a nod and say, it is very important to know where your strengths lie and where they do not. And I have no doubt that you will excel in the areas in which you are versed. And I think it is very wise to allow us to excel in the areas in which you are not. And I'll give him a nod.
Sidian just
Yeah, basically.
But Therese will say,
Teresa.
Therese. I said Therese. Many military
Flashbacks.
men by career underestimate the importance of logistics. To have someone who understands such things is a blessing for any army.
So hopefully he feels good about himself now.
Not good, but maybe better. Is there anything you'd like to do before you go off to Goblins?
Like, as soon as we come out of the tent, Therese will look through to me. That lady friend of his is not what she seems. I do not know if she is simply a dwarf.
Ladder climber.
Yes, a ladder climber, or an enemy of his politically, or someone hired by an enemy of his politically. But given what we are facing, I suspect she might be worse.
It is a precarious place indeed to wander blithely in.
My concern is that if we do anything against her, we stand to turn.
We have no idea where she's slithered off to.
Unfortunately, that is true.
Catch her in the jar.
You could track her if you so wished.
Do you
And
guys...
maybe while we're waiting for the scouts to come back, we could do that.
Well, if you go... Are we waiting for the scouts then talking? Or are you going to go talk and I will track her?
We're going to wait for the scouts and then talk.
Because, yeah, the scouts might have relevant information.
If you want to keep an eye on her now, it would be a survival roll.
Elf eyes see.
Well, let's see. It's a survival roll. We'll see.
Because I imagine we're trying to do this stealthily as well. I can make use of my meld to stone ability to make us all much harder to detect.
Yes, that's actually very useful.
Is fade into the forest okay for that?
Not really here. There's not really smoke or anything that you could use within. But
singing that for chat.
Plus, Rat Trace will make you stealthy at the very least. If you need to roll stealth rolls, I'll tell you. But for now, survival.
Is this everyone can roll survival or just Honoravian?
If other people want to actively track her.
I will follow the lead of someone who's better at that than me.
Well, I got one better than you. What's wrong?
It's because I misclicked, and if I just touch the pad, it's like, nah, mate.
I am just very wise.
I don't know why that rolled with advantage, but...
It means you get to re-roll it.
We've literally just been like, 8, 9, 10.
I mean, that's fair enough.
A lot of it, the two of you look around in the dark places, in the areas where the dwarves are mining out more space. But you don't look there, Sidian. You look to where the ale is being poured. And you see a young lady attempting to put something within the keg. It's almost like a water cooler for beer. And she's like stepping up on something in a stealthy way. She's kind of like behind it, trying to put something in there. If you all want to sneak up on her, that'll be a stealth roll.
You better believe.
I'm gonna kill her.
That's the wrong roll.
I rolled a 30.
The wrong one. Yes.
I'm not. Can I stay far away from this and not risk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
I've never played a paladin that was good at stealthing before, but yeah,
are you joining in, Vilnora?
Oh, I thought I was already I was already gone.
You're not here. That's right.
I'm not
That's a good
here.
point. You are not
That's why I've been
actually
quiet.
here. That is why you've been quiet. I should have known that. You sneak up upon her. And what do you want to do? Like, you can straight up, like, you're taller than her. You can straight up, like, sneak up to where she is, Sidian, and go and get her. I mean, Donna is also sneaking, but you know she might get revealed in any moment.
Yeah, I'm literally going to sneak up behind her and just like, yeah, I'm just gonna grab her hand. That is like
If only we had a
process
camera.
of putting something in there.
You grab the hand, and you hear them literally say, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
I'll just say, "What are you doing?" And it's like just like emerge from the wall.
You see the thoughts click within their head, and a bit of a polite little smile looks up at you, and then the top half of their head kind of hops up in a slimy black mass. Another jaw with a tongue lashes out at you.
Classic.
And the shape of the girlfriend immediately shifts into something more abstract. Ready to fight you.
Yay!
Dun dun dun.
Whoa, animated
dun,
map.
dun, dun.
Okay.
Yay!
Whoa.
Snowing.
Donna Ruvian turns around, goes plays in the snow.
That's what you're doing at the grave. You just made like a little snow dwarf. Feel free to roll initiative.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Yep.
Good. Good job, team. Good fucking job.
Oh!
Hell yeah, dog. We're fucking lightning
have,
quick today, boys.
Lightning McQueen?
What about my persona?
No. I'm doing it. Doing it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This bitch is fast. Yeah, immediately the dwarven shape doesn't completely dissolve. You can kind of still see the face that they were wearing. It's just kind of like up here, like someone had pushed a mask up. It's now sort of, it's almost like where the jaw is, there was another mouth that's kind of come out and stretched, almost like venom. And the rest of the body kind of gets a little more slick, a little more speedy, and very quickly adjusts position. And they laugh, and the voice kind of is both the female dwarves and something that's way more. It's a gender, it's a person, it's the most neutral voice in the world, but still with malice. And it's like, I can do this, and he's still going to forgive me. And then is going.
Begging is wrong.
And then is going to attack you. What's your armor class?
It is 16.
Oh, it's gonna hit you. She is going to slide around behind you, grab your head, and slam it into the table the keg was on.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, she ain't playing around. That's going to be. It's gonna do 7 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Is that Proto Man?
It's not Proto.
No one else I know hums Proto Man. I feel like I've found kindred. Donna, you're next. You see this? The whole thing.
So, I want to huck a knife and move closer. If that's okay.
Yeah, throw first, stab, move. I know what you're doing. Roll me a roll. Matchmaker,
Hell
roll
yeah.
me a roll. Nice.
And then I want to go for the second stab as soon as I click. damage. That's
Yes.
the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's really good damage.
Juicy
Maybe
damage.
I won't have to.
Where were these rolls?
Maybe I won't have to weaken this encounter as much as I thought I would because there's only 3 of you.
Juicy.
No.
Go ahead on the
No,
second
don't do
dagger.
that. And I want to scimitar it just because they're fun.
Yeah. That's a hit.
Woohoo! Just had to double check I wasn't on advantage. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Trust me, we're gonna have more what the fuck. Yeah, this is a brutal, like, a brutal strike. The dagger hit is, like, exactly where the heart should be. Not so sure if this inky shapeshifter even has a heart.
Players don't have hearts.
But it does, Karens don't have hearts. It does kind of stumble back against the keg and it even sloshes a little bit. But that secures
keg.
them in place for you to just slash away, and you slash, and the flesh is like wet clay. And you see it almost try to pull together, but you do just enough damage that it can't. The blood that it's bleeding is a black sludge, but it is not defeated.
Nobody makes me bleed my own sludge.
Sidian.
All right, I'm gonna prep a little thunderous smite here.
Please don't hurt me.
You're just gonna give them all a little kiss.
Yep, just a
A
little,
little swing.
and then we're gonna give her a swingy
So
through,
how do you make that worse than what I did?
right?
Impressive.
Is a 16 a hit?
That is a hit. They're
Great.
fast, but they're not that fast.
So then she's gonna.
The only armor they're wearing is a steel bra.
All right, so we've
I
got.
said it earlier.
14 bludgeoning damage. Also,
Oh, that's
gonna be
rad.
another 7 thunder damage.
That's
Also,
great.
she needs to make a strength saving throw.
Oof.
She doesn't
They
need to
make
make
it.
a high number.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
perfect.
fine. With
Then
15.
she's fine. That's it for me, dog. That's my turn.
Therese.
Therese is going to move up. And
Can I just say, I watched Silence of the Lambs today, so it's taking a lot of mental energy to not go Clarice or Therese. That is all. I was even tempted to tell you, Zoe, that I was watching it when we were chatting earlier, because I was like, Zoe would
very-
appreciate this.
Absolutely. I may or may not have been obsessed with Hannibal growing up.
Hannibal Buress or
Worrying.
Hannibal Lecter?
Hannibal Lecter dresses well, has good taste, and people who are bad.
Has good
he's
taste.
a superhero, but he eats people.
Ian! Sorry.
Therese will call out, like, to the camp in general. Men, we have an intruder! It's less to actually get allies and more to get witnesses, because, like,
Oh shit!
someone to back up the fact we haven't just attacked this guy's girlfriend.
Bring
That's
many
sensible.
handcuffs.
Oh yeah, that was. I also forgot to mention that was specifically why I did Thunderous Smite, because it makes a sound that can be heard 300 feet away. So
And
it's like
So the goblins can't hear it.
the goblins can't hear it because they're 500 units away.
I know.
But anyone
Good
who's
to-
300
that,
units
you know,
away.
you could have accidentally fucked up if they were 300 away. But they are not.
And then she will clasp her hands over a holy symbol hanging on a chain around her neck, and there's just a soft glow from it, like a warming light that envelops her and then the two of you as
Yay.
she casts Bless.
Nice,
Sweet.
awesome.
Nice.
And that ends my turn.
The shapeshifter, despite being an actor in such drama, the look upon their faces is clearly fear and panic, and then a wicked idea. The face kind of slides back down and warps and changes to look like Donaruvian. Exactly. Aside from the clothing.
How do we tell which one's which? Donaruvian would never.
Which one do I shoot?
Five.
And then is going to kind of try and tumble into tents and equipment here, out of sight from a lot of you. Can you two actually give me perception checks?
Me?
You two.
Us two, right? Yeah, okay.
And over pointing is useless. Oh, that's really good. You actually
I
get
rolled persuasion. My perception's much worse.
That's -2 perception then.
Yeah.
You actually get an opportunity attack against them, Donna, as they kind of like slime their body like into the boxes
I
and
love the idea
equipment.
that they go for a tumble and we just watch them tumble to the side.
Blah! The action roll, but you get an opportunity attack.
Can I grab
No, let's say no. There's probably a ruling on that somewhere.
stab swords into their clothing to stop them from leaving?
You can make an attack against them as they're leaving that might down them. That's the best you really get when it comes to opportunity attacks.
Oh, they're not
You can do a
gonna
non-lethal attack.
Well, yeah, and there's that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can deliberately go for the legs, but
Add a
luckily...
D4 to that.
You are blessed. Bless up.
That's worrying, because from the camera we see, Ian reached over and the hands went into Zoe's lap and Zoe goes, ooh! Just saying is what happened. That one was the difference between failure and success, and that actually is a hit.
At last I checked, my crotch doesn't clackety clack.
Well, mine does.
Get that checked.
Oh, it's good to be back.
That was a hit for +1. So
Yes, that was a hit, so you can roll damage on that one.
Come on.
That's really good damage, and not enough to take them down, but enough to, like, tear the dress open and leave this big, bleeding, oozy gash in your leg. And it's going to tumble and move as Donaruvian.
Second attack?
no, it's just
No, because this is opportunity attacks. And,
Of course.
and Therese, you see what they're doing. They're going to attack Fearlock as Donaruvian.
okay, great.
But it's your turn next, Donna, actually.
Oh. For some reason I was like, but I just had a go.
No, opportunity attacks. You don't play melee characters. We haven't played melee characters for ages on Monday. So, the whole thing. That being said, Cassia does have an axe. Is that a throw?
Yeah.
You'd actually have disadvantage from here because of all the stuff in the way. So you actually get to re-roll that,
Which is probably good.
Yeah.
which is probably good. This is called an Eric. Yeah, that's a hit now.
Hey.
You throw it like through the tent there and through the like cook dwarf who's like, whoa!
Boomerang. I want it to go.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? You're an elf. You can boomerang a knife. Curved swords. You can barely even see it, you two back there, because of all the stuff in the way, but you just hear a and then a wet thud. And
Good
with that
shit.
wet thud, we're going to take a break. I'm going to make a coffee, so it might be a bit. But I can do what I want. So, we'll be back in a bit.
Rules. Go outside, wash your hands, wear a mask. There's a few rules.